Well, welcome to the first reinstallment of the Commissioner's Corner, where I'll be sitting down with our one of our extraordinary student athletes across the league, talking about real life topics, hockey, and hopefully everything that's fun and relevant in between. This segment was created and credited to a previous commissioner, so Jen Flowers started this, and we're happy to bring it back. And also really happy to brag about Jen, who was just recently named athletic director at her alma mater, Winona State University. And so she continues to be an incredible leader. She's the first ever female athletic director in that department. So definitely want to give stick taps to Jen Flowers. But we're excited to chat today with a very prominent defender on the Buckeye blue line, a senior from Ohio State, Emma Peschel. And Emma last year had an incredible year, first team All WCHA, second team All American. She's been a two-time WCHA regular season champion, a part of the 2024 Ohio State National Championship team, and then also has made quite a few appearances representing her country on the U18 uh, world team, and then most recently on the collegiate select team. So it's a long bio, Emma. I won't recap it all, but thank you for joining us.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Absolutely. So, just first of all, how's your summer going? Like, what's keeping you busy these days?
Yeah, it's been awesome. I've been back in Minnesota for May and June. We get done with school actually really early, like late April, so I have the chance to come home, spend time with family, friends, go up to the cabin, train, do all the fun stuff. And then I'm also doing an internship. So it's been busy, but busy is good. And it's been flying by, and I'm excited to get back in Columbus in July and then get back at it in preseason in August.
Yeah, so you're dressed for your internship, not for this segment. So I understand
Yep.
that. Appreciate that.
Yep.
Do you want to touch a little bit about on that internship and maybe some of the WCHA connections?
Yeah, sure. So I'm actually working at Northwestern Mutual here in the cities. It's been awesome. It's a lot of financial planning, something that I never thought that I would do, but here we are. And it's been an awesome experience. The people there are awesome. And there's also been some WCHA connections through Ashley Stenerson, Kari Smith, Marianne Menifee. Yeah. So those they've been awesome mentors and just supporting my both my internship journey with them and then also with my hockey career. So they've been huge role models and I'm excited to get to know them and continue to work with them for the rest of the summer.
I love that. I love the crossover between the Mavericks, the Gophers, and the Buckeyes.
Yeah, it's been fun. And I didn't know that there were so many connections until I got there. I knew Ashley was there, but learning from Kari and talking to her and just like the instant connection that we had was crazy. And they're people that I will look up to for the rest of my life for sure.
Yeah, very much understand each other, right? Like they certainly probably understand what your summer's like. They've been there, and then and it's also you can really understand the path that they've taken to get where they're at.
Right, exactly. And they didn't have pro hockey when they were graduating with school too, so they went straight to the professional world. So then it's like they kind of talked about that transition and it's really actually cool to hear how they got there.
Yeah. So is this a bit of a pivot academically for you doing this internship? Did you start out
Yeah.
with a different academic interest?
Yeah, so I actually started freshman year going in for like pre-med. I was like, I'm going to med school. Like I said, my mom's she's a PA for dermatology. She's like super smart. I want to be a doctor. I love Grey's Anatomy too. My grandpa was a doctor, all of it. And I went in as biology. I took Chem 1 and I was like, you know what? I don't think I want to do this again. I was like, and you can ask Sloan, like Sloan Matthews, she was my roommate. She went, like, we took that class at the same time. We went through thick and thin in that class. And I kind of just was like, you know what? This isn't for me. I don't think med school is really in the cards. Like, it's a lot of school. I quickly realized I also don't really love school. Like, I feel like I'm somewhat smart, hopefully, but it's not really my thing. Um, and I was like, you know, like there has to be something different. So I switched my major to health sciences, which is still in the same field. I love health. I want to be able to help people in that space, but I also didn't think med school was a good fit. So then with health sciences, I also have to add a minor. So it's like, okay, what minor would be the most beneficial for me to add? And it was business. So I kind of like mixing. health with business, which then leads to like medical sales or health administration. Something, there's so many different career opportunities with it. But this internship in the business realm kind of came out of nowhere. The recruiter had reached out to me through LinkedIn through a mutual connection or two, and was just like, "Hey, this is a good opportunity. It's more salesy than anything." I would say I'm learning a lot about the financial world, and if I ever want to go back to that, then great. But if I don't, then I have good experience. So it's really just kind of seeing what happens. I mean, obviously, you never know how long I'm going to be playing hockey for, but there's also a life after hockey. So I'm just kind of trying to do my best to set myself up for the success after that.
Yeah, and giving yourself different options, right? I think that's the best part of just, exploring different paths. And I think whenever time I was always talking to student athletes, when you're growing up and you're in high school and you say, what do you want to do? Most people can only list probably about 10 to 15 jobs.
Right.
And
Right.
they're so broad and they're so generic. And so there are a lot of different paths in a lot of different industries that maybe can tap into a lot of your passions.
Right. And there's so many different things. If I can stay within hockey, then I would love to as well. Like there's literally so much potential and opportunity. But health sciences is also nice because it's a very broad major. So there's a bunch of different classes that I can take to kind of specify like what I want to do. So like I'm taking like a sports psych class this coming semester. So it's like kind of blending everything together. So it's been really fun.
So when you were growing up and thinking about your future, the PWHL and professional women's hockey wasn't even an option then. But so I guess maybe just talk about where we are now and where you are now, embarking on your senior year. You have that as an option. How does that feel? How does that impact your plans?
Right. Yeah. I mean, having the P-Dub available is awesome. Like, I guarantee you, every girl when they were younger that's still playing college hockey now is like, I want to play in the NHL. Like, I'm going to be a pro. Like, this is a dream. And now that we have our own league, it's a new dream. It's like, okay, yeah, we know the NHL is not a possibility, or at least we don't think it is. Maybe it is someday. But for right now, it's not. So we have the P-Dub available, and it just like kind of was talking about with Kari and like those other Northwestern Mutual people, like they didn't have that opportunity. And now that we have that opportunity, we can play the sport we love for longer. We can make money playing. Like it creates a whole new opportunity and we can bring more girls into the game and bring fans. Like going to like the Minnesota Frost game when they won the Walter Cup, the fans were amazing. And it's like you would never think that women's hockey would get that much attention, that much like excitement around it. And it's really cool to see how much the league has grown and then also the opportunity that's created for so many players that didn't even think it was a possibility, including myself.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the exciting thing about the Frost, especially, you and I are currently both based in Minneapolis, so we get the privilege of being connected to that team. There are a lot of new fans in that fan base. So it's not just girls and women's hockey fans who are now tuning into professional women's hockey. Professional women's hockey is now tapping into this whole new market, which for me and my standpoint and the league standpoint, that's just really exciting because we're at a place now where there's just so much room to grow for women's hockey that will help the professional ranks, but also help us at the collegiate level as well.
Right. And it's like people even in Columbus are getting more into it because they see our team's success, but then they also see the P-Dub and they're like, we will like, what if we want a team someday? Like, what if Detroit gets a team and that's a 3 hour drive for our daughter to go watch or like our family to go up and watch? Like it opens so many new doors, like you said, that weren't open before.
Maybe we can bring it back a little bit and talk about just the path that's led you to Columbus. What's been your journey like in girls hockey and then leading you to Ohio State?
Yeah. So I obviously am from Minnesota, like you said. Grew up here, played hockey since like first grade. I actually surprisingly, a lot of my girls, the girls my age that are still playing, played boys growing up. I actually only played boys for 1 year. It was even co-ed. So I was playing with some other girls. Like there were maybe two or three of us. Like it wasn't that. We had our own locker room, all that fun stuff. We weren't quite in a janitor's closet, but we had our own like girls' locker room. But so that was only the only year that I played. And then I played girls hockey the rest of my time. I grew up in Edina, huge hockey city. Everyone hates us. We're the cake eaters. Um, which I kind of like because I like being hated. You can ask Muzz too. And So then I played throughout the association, but then once I got to high school, I didn't think Edina High School was going to be a great fit for me. I just kind of had always went to I was at a private Catholic high, or not high school, but well, I guess private Catholic high school too. But growing up, I went to Catholic school. I wanted to be in that smaller knit community. I didn't feel like jumping from 70 kids in my grade to 400 at the time was that good of a transition for me, and with hockey stuff too. So went to Middle St. Margaret's, played high school there, was on varsity for 4 years. And then sophomore year, obviously, like all the rule changes with recruiting and stuff kind of happened right when I was in college. So I kind of started early and then went black, like the blackout period, and then got back to recruiting. Muzzy was actually my first call on June 15th. It was at like 8 a.m. I was like, why is Ohio State calling me? Like, I honestly didn't really even know that Ohio State had a team. I was like, oh, like, we'll just see how this goes. Like, I kind of have heard that Muzzy's like really tough, and like, I just didn't really know that much. And I got on the phone with her, and it was like the best conversation I had ever had. I was like, she was super conversational, built a relationship with me right away, was upfront, honest, and like kind of like inspired me, like, and kind of made me realize that I had potential. Like, I feel like going into my sophomore year, I was like, oh, like, I like will probably talk to some schools, but it's like, I don't think I'm that good. And then Muzzy came knocking, and she was honest. She wanted me. And then it was COVID too. So then my dad and I was like, okay, like I want to make a choice, but I want to get on campus. So it was important for me to get on campus. I was like, I want to see the school. I knew that I had looked at some schools before and I didn't love all of them. So I was like, I gotta see if this one's different. So my dad and I flew out in July of like 2020, I think, and it was dead COVID. No one was there. It was empty. Like that big campus had no one in it. We couldn't go into any buildings, nothing. Like restaurants were closed, downtown was empty. It was crazy. But walked around, felt like home. I loved it. And then committed a few days later, and now the rest is history. So I never would have thought that I would have ended up at Ohio State. I knew I wanted to kind of get out, get away. But yeah, here we are, and I wouldn't change a thing.
That's amazing. And it sounds like you've really made some unconventional choices, especially like being in Edina, which is a historic and legendary successful program, but making the decision to choose a better academic and, maybe social fit. So choosing a different option there, and then also being from Minnesota and then choosing to go play out of state. I would imagine that, among a lot of your peers, that probably both of those decisions probably raised some eyebrows.
Yeah, I think like one of the most common questions that I get asked is why didn't you go to Minnesota? And it's like, well, I wanted to branch out. I didn't want to just follow the pack. Like a lot of the girls in my class and girls around me were going to Minnesota schools, and it's like I kind of knew from my whole recruiting process that I didn't want to stay home. Like I wanted to make my own path. I wanted to go elsewhere, and do something different. And Ohio State at that time was getting good. They weren't like national championship caliber just because with COVID and stuff, their season got canceled and all that, but they were getting really good. And I wanted to get on board with a program that was going somewhere. And it's awesome to see like how Muzzy has transformed it, how all the girls coming in have transformed it. Like it's really cool to see. And I'm very, very happy that I made that decision.
Oh, I'm sure. I would imagine you've played in three consecutive
Yep.
national championship
Yeah.
games, right?
Which, if you would have asked me when I committed, I would have been like, yeah, I want to win a national championship. Like Muzzy asked me, like, yeah, I want to win. I'm competitive. I want to. Like going to Benilde, we lost to Edina every year. Like I was like, I'm sick of this. Like I want to win. And then, I mean, three national championships later, one ain't bad. I'm
Yep.
hoping for the next year, but you never
Yep.
know. So,
Yeah, I mean, to be in that game for three times, I think most players would die to have that experience once in their career, and
right.
you've had it three, and obviously it's gone your way once, but I guess just maybe speak to that about like what it's like to be in that program where you've had that experience for the last 3 years about, what does it say about Coach Muzz and your team's mentality? And how does playing in the WCHA, kind of in and out, impacts how you prepare to compete on those national stages?
Yeah, and it's actually funny that you bring this up because I was talking to some work people today and they were like, they were talking about March Madness, and they were like, "Well, Emma, where was the Frozen Four? Like, is it in the same spot every year?" And it's like they were saying, like, it's crazy that like we could talk to you about this because like you've been there 3 times. Like, it's like you've played in like these NCAA tournaments, and we were talking about this earlier in the year, like just to never take it for granted because I think because we've made it 3 times, it's like, oh, if we don't make it now, like we've done like a disservice to the program. Like, it's like our expectation and Muzzy's to make the national championship and to win every year. And that's just like how it is, which is like what we need. Like that's our driving force. She has expectations for us that are through the roof. And I think that is what makes us so good because she pushes us past our limit, past even what we think is possible. But it's like, how can she like kind of switch our mindset? And that's how we work with Navy SEALs too. Is like, how can we flip our mindset to be like, instead of I like might be able to, I should, into I can, I will, and just like making it assertive and making it happen. So I think that's like what has pushed us to get to that game all 3 years. Because even in the Cornell game in the Frozen Four this year, we were up 2-0, went and then tied at 2-2 going into the third. It's like, well, we just dug ourselves in a hole. How are we going to get back out? Because we don't have an option.
Yeah.
There is no other option. So I think, like, especially with our leadership group this year, and for the girls that have been, I guess it's only me and Sloan, but the girls that have been in 3 national championships now in a row, how do we make sure that we get to that fourth? And I think Muzzy does a really good job of that, of pushing us past our limits mentally and then also, like, how do we bring those other girls with us? Because we've had girls that have also been in two, they're 2 for 2. So it's like, how do we get them to 3 for 3? How do we bring the new girls to get to one and then get to two? So it's really just all a mindset thing. I mean, obviously, we get worked. We're a tough, relentless, hardworking team, blue collar, all the words. But I really think it's the mental side and our mindset going into every single game that gets us there.
You live it as a player, as a member of that program. And I think so many coaches want to set really high expectations. And I think it's easy to set expectations, but it's
Mhm.
hard to build the buy-in that everyone can really grasp onto that. And I think that's really evident when you talk to you and your teammates that there is a whole, it's not just about setting the bar high, it's everyone is bought into the same expectations, the same work ethic, the same goal.
Right. And that's a big locker room thing too, is like I could talk about the girls in the locker room for hours. Like it's like everyone is bought in. I mean, it might take some people a little bit of time to like realize that it's for the better, like even like the mental, the physical toughness, like it's for the betterment of the group. And it's like, how do you get them to fully buy in, like you said, and give 100% every single practice, every shift, every game? And again, that's like a big culture thing, and that's what we really pride ourselves on.
So I guess speaking about the people who are in the room and your teammates, maybe who talk about a teammate that you think people should know more about. Maybe someone they could be someone that is well known or maybe not, who do you want to shine some light on and why?
Yeah, I think. For sure, Jocelyn Amos. I think that she came in freshman year full force. Like her and Joy were like a dynamic duo almost. But Joss is just such a hard-nosed worker. She goes hard after pucks, is an awesome teammate off the ice, awesome leader. And I think that she gets some like attention, but I think she definitely deserves more just because she's like a very well-rounded player, well-rounded person. I'd also say Sloan Matthews, her and I are really close, so I'm not like I don't know. I gotta give her a shout out.
Yeah.
But I think that she's very underrated. She's definitely started to get some more attention with like some USA stuff. She was on our collegiate team this past December in Finland, and she like proved herself there. She like is again such a hard worker, has a really good work ethic. She is so fast. She used to be a figure skater, so she's like unreal. Like I'm like I could not like her edge work. I can't like it's really impressive. But I definitely think that she'll continue to climb and hopefully make her presence known even more this year. But I for sure would say those two. I think they deserve the world. They're awesome on and off the ice. And I can't wait to watch them and see what they do this year.
That's awesome. A couple more questions just before we wrap up, but just thinking about just hockey, the game itself, not necessarily, but like when it comes to just thinking about the sport, what is it about you that brings joy? And I know
Yeah.
you have a teammate named Joy, so maybe she might be the answer.
She would for sure make a comment. If she's watching, then she'll probably text me too. So Joy, text me if you're watching. Um,
Joy brings joy, we'll just say.
Joy brings joy. Yep, choose joy. Um, I would say just the love and the passion for it. I think like playing for years and years growing up and seeing like what impact it's had on me. Like I've had a lot of trust in Muzzy for picking my friends because she recruits all my friends. I've had a lot of trust in my Edina coaches for choosing the teams that we're on because I have relationships with those girls that I still kind of keep up with them today. For my high school, like it's like all the teams that I've been on, I've built such strong relationships that have then increased my passion and my love for the game because obviously like my dad is a huge role model in hockey. He like is my rock. I go to him for everything hockey related, especially like it's anything that happens, I go to him. I call him after every game. If he's not there, I call him before every game. He stick handles with my dog before every game because I used to do that in high school. Like he is my like he keeps my love for hockey going. And I think that him, as well as like all my other teammates, like it's the biggest thing. And it breaks my heart to hear like when people lose the love for it because I couldn't imagine my life without it. So it's like, how do I find the love and passion for it when it gets hard? And then I also want to think about like, how do I inspire the younger generation to fall in love with it the same way that I did? Because like obviously growing up, there's bumps. Like I have gotten cut from many teams. Like I can like the amount of heartbreak that I went through and still go through today. Like it's obviously there's hard parts, but there's always the highs with it. And it's like, how can you tell the younger generation to push through those because it's really worth it when you get to those highs? Um, yeah, I would say just the love and passion for it. I mean, yeah, I couldn't imagine life without hockey, and I hope that I can play for quite a few more years. Fingers crossed.
What you say resonated with me because I think back to like you think about all the great things and the fun things, but it's those hard moments that you learn the most, right? And I'm sure
Yeah.
you certainly remember the joy of winning the national championship, but coming up short can be probably some of the most formative experiences of your life. And so I think that's an incredible life lesson that you've taken away.
Oh yeah, and losing twice, trust me, like I have gotten all the memories, all the feelings, all the gut punches. Like it sucks. But again, it's what motivates you. Like we have 18.9 seconds engraved in our brain for this year. It's like that number is not going anywhere and it is what will push us in every single moment. Like even when we were doing echo bike conditioning in May, like it was really hard and Joy was like 18.9, like let's go, like we're doing this. Like that's just kind of our drive and like like people just have to find that drive and that willingness to just do the hard things because it is what will make the sport and the love for it worth it.
Absolutely. And then just last question, just kind of touching on, your previous answer too about like wanting the younger generation to be, willing to do the hard things and willing to embrace the game that has taught you so much. You're from Edina, which is a hockey hotbed. Now in Columbus, which is a different state, and without the same resources hockey wise. You know,
Mhm.
what are your thoughts about, growing the game in that environment? What have you experienced as a Buckeye, and also the potential, in Columbus for women's hockey?
Yeah, I think in Edina, obviously, there's always growth. Like there, I don't know what the numbers are, but I think that the numbers have continued to go up in girls hockey, especially. And it's really cool to kind of see that talent develop as well. I would say in Columbus, we try and get out and volunteer as much as we can, especially with like the younger kids. We have like a few tournaments and events that we try and tend to, especially with like the Jackets AAA program. We'll go out and coach them here and there. I think even Riley Bregman, an alum, just is like coaching there this summer and she's doing like some private lessons. But it's just like that kind of stuff of getting our brand out there and then also getting girls to come to our games, see us, see the potential that could happen, make that a dream, and then like pursue it. Or even like having the Ohio State camps in the summer. Like I had a goalie I was coaching and a goalie came up to me and she was like, "How'd you choose Ohio State?" And I was like, I kind of gave her my spiel and then I asked her where she wanted to go and she was like, "I want to come here." And it's like starting that dream somewhere, whether it's at that camp, whether it's when we're at like a Blue Jackets event with 10-year-olds. Like that dream can start from anywhere, and if we can inspire them in any way we can, then we will. And then there's also like mentorship programs, like with Strong Girls United. We're gonna try and get back involved with them. We were with them last year and the year before. But it's like just getting our names out there, getting our brand out there, using the Ohio State brand and collaborating with those smaller organizations is definitely where that growth will happen. And it's been really cool to see. I mean, obviously, Columbus isn't a big hockey city. Ohio is not a big hockey state. But again, like you have to start that dream from somewhere, and the programs are continuing to grow, and the numbers are for sure going up.
That's awesome. It's so great to hear how involved you are, how involved your program is, and I know you all are tremendous role models on and off the ice. So,
Yeah, I mean, it's a blessing to be part of that group and to just see where the younger generation will go.
well, last thing we want to do, and we do hope this to be an ongoing segment that we do, visiting with different WCHA student athletes among our 8 great member schools. So we want to end with this or that. So just basic rules of just I'll give you 2 options. Just try to choose the one that best suits you. Some are hockey related, some are not, but it'll just give everyone a better insight into who Emma is.
Perfect.
Sound good? Ready to
Yep,
go?
sounds good. Ready.
All right. So this or that, what do you prefer? Pregame music or pregame silence?
Pre-game music, for
All
sure.
right. I think
If you ask any one of my teammates, I have like a whole lineup of songs that I have to listen to. I'm really superstitious, so.
are you on Ox or no?
No, I'm not. I'm not on game days. Game days,
Okay.
I give that to someone else. It was Jenna Buglioni this year, and then I don't know who will take over it this year. But we always listen like a big booty mix before the game, and we listen to the same one like the whole year. So then we get like routines with it. Like we like know when we're supposed to like get ready at a certain time if we're like on track. It's
Wow.
yeah, it's fun. It's a
Yeah.
serious routine.
It's the soundtrack of the Buckeyes. I like it.
Right. Exactly.
All right. I think I know the answer to this one, but would you rather be the underdog or the favorite?
Underdog.
That's on brand. Do you prefer morning workouts or late night workouts?
Morning, I think. I
Okay.
would say I'm like slowly turning in the summers I turn into a morning person because I wake up early to go work out before work, and then in Columbus we wake up early too.
Okay.
But I don't think I have the energy at the end of the day to go work out. I wouldn't, no.
Good.
I-
Instagram or TikTok?
Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beach or lake?
Oh, that's a hard one. I would say beach. I
Oh,
love the beach. But
that's
like I
that's
also love
again
like I love the cabin. Like
an
it's
an unconventional choice for you. You chose
yeah,
beach.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
like both. I'm at the lake more, but I like when I'm at the beach, like maybe I'll change my answer because I don't really like sand. I'm
All
changing
right.
it. Lake
Okay.
for sure.
All right. Would you rather have a bad haircut or a bad dye job?
Dye job because you can fix it.
All right. Ketchup or ranch?
Ranch.
Minnesota, there you go.
Yep, yep.
And then last hockey one, bubble or cage?
Cage, I used to have a bubble, but Mom took it away. She said no. And then Sophie Jakes could keep hers. You could have
Ooh, that's
Sophie wore a cage for 1 day and then went right back to the bubble. I actually was
really,
thinking about changing anyway because it gets kind of hot.
yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah,
for
I would
sure.
take a cage now.
Awesome.